Alright guys, so recently I received this in the mail from a brand called Orcatorch, and essentially, I mean, it's a dive light. It's let me just open it up real quick. So inside here you got this little handheld light, a rechargeable battery, and then the charging cord. And I've been diving a lot of afternoon dives recently, and there have been multiple occasions where I got stuck or caught in the darkness, like the sunset, while I was still out there. And it's pretty unnerving not being able to really see your surroundings. And I didn't want to bring like those big lights that we usually use here in Hawaii for night diving and stuff. And so I thought this was a great product. I mean, so I just unscrewed this here. And it's also really helpful. I believe it will be, at least. I'm gonna go test it out right now, but I believe it would be helpful for if the water's dirty or if you're trying to look in holes and stuff for menpachi and hole and stuff and it's all dark inside. So you just stick the battery in and you screw it back together. And so I'm gonna take this out with me. I'm going on an afternoon dive, and ideally I don't get caught out in the darkness, but if I do, this will be helpful to have. And on top of that, I'm gonna use it to 3-prong for invasives and menpachi, hole, all the stuff that lives in the holes. And it's pretty bright, button on the top. Oh, sorry about that. But it's pretty bright. I'm gonna go in a dark room pretty soon and show you guys the actual beam. I'm gonna take this into my room, turn off the lights, and show you guys how strong the beam is, or how strong the light is. Alright guys, so I'm in my room. Let's turn off the light. I still have windows, so there's still kind of some light in here, but I think that kind of shows how bright it is. So this is called the D710 dive light. And yeah, it's pretty bright. I'm gonna go try it out and see if it's actually helpful, because you know, in Hawaii we usually don't use dive lights to go daytime diving, but I'm just gonna try it and see if it benefits me in any way, and I'll let you guys know how it goes. Shoots. Alright guys, so I'm a little sick right now. If you can hear it in my voice is going to be a little off for this video. But this is the first drop. I was just bringing out the 3-prong. As you can see, there's a bunch of ta'ape stuff in this hole. And some menpachis in there as well. And so I was targeting those. As you can see, the light really illuminates the hole well. I got that menpachi there. And I forgot to mention when I was unboxing the light itself, there actually is a wrist strap that comes with this light. You just have to put it on yourself, which is super easy. So it does come with a wrist strap, which is very helpful. But yeah, I got this one menpachi. And so the water today at this spot was actually really clear, at least for this spot. Usually this place is pretty dirty. But the light was helpful in showing me what was in the holes. The only problem was that there was kind of a surge going on the bottom, so it was a little bit difficult for me to stay in place. So, because I didn't have my free hand to grip the bottom. But all in all, if there was no surge, or if I had maybe more weight on my belt, this would have been super helpful, because in holes like this where you can't really see inside, you can kind of see the back of the hole, but you can't see to the left side. And there were a couple times where I dropped down without my 3-prong just so I could like look around, and it was super helpful having that light. I could see so much more fish, but I just didn't have the 3-prong on me. There I got a nice toile. It's also helpful when I'm looking in the hole to like grab my fish after I've hit it. It's helpful for me to locate it, and it also is helpful for locating eels if there's any puhi around that are ready to grab my fish, or in a worst case my hand or something. super easy to spot them before it's too late. So that was another helpful thing. But I got this nice toal. And the 3-prong fell out of my hands. That's why it was sinking down to the bottom. But here I just found another nice hole. And that wrist strap was super helpful because I could just drop the light, load my 3-prong, and then grab the light again, because I usually like to load the 3-prong as I'm going down rather than on the surface. As you can see, the light is really helping me out here, showing me everything that's in the hole. And you can see there's a puhi right there sticking his head out that I wouldn't have seen without the light. And then I saw that menpachi right there. So the only thing is that sometimes fish are scared by white light, especially in Hawaii. And so every time, once I located the fish, I kind of tried to take the light off them a little bit just so that they would remain a little bit more calm, so I could actually get the shot off before they got scared. Because I found that if I kept the light on them for too long, they would get spooked and they would swim deeper into the hole and I wouldn't be able to see them. After I was done messing with the 3-prong, me and Race decided to check out this omilu hole that I found a few years ago. Now this hole is pretty deep down. It sits at the bottom of a channel that's about 80 feet at its deepest point. So pretty deep hole. But I decided I would just go down and check, see if there's anybody home. And as you can see, with just one quick glance, I can tell there's nothing in there. So I didn't want to spend more time down at 80 feet than I needed to. So pretty quickly I decided that I'm just going to go back up again. But on my way up, this omilu swims right past me. And I managed to get a shot off as he's going in the hole. Now, I will say this is pretty dangerous, especially because I'm shooting into a hole with a fish as strong as an omilu or an ulua. It's very easy for him to get tangled up under there, and he's going to fight hard. So it creates this huge mess and a pretty dangerous situation, because I either have to go back down there to untangle him, or I have to cut my line and lose a bunch of gear. So not a great situation, and I thought I was gonna be able to stone him there, but because I didn't, now I have this mess in my hands. So it's pretty dangerous, because he could have also tangled me up, not just himself underneath that hole, and it would have been really hard for me to get back up to the surface. And at 80 feet, that's just not a situation you want to be in. But luckily I didn't get tangled. That would be the worst case scenario, but I didn't get tangled. He did get stuck in this hole, and I just grabbed my light. I'm going back down, and I figure with the light I'll be able to see where my line went, locate the fish, and maybe be able to extract him. So I go down right away. I locate the omilu, just shining my light, following my line, and I can see how it's going underneath there, and then it goes back out the hole. And I can see that the reason I couldn't pull him up from the surface is because my spear is stuck at an awkward angle here. And so I just pull that out, and now I should be able to pull him out through the hole. And I was able to get him extracted without putting in too much work. And everything ended up being okay. And I had Race right there with me, ready to help me out if anything went wrong, but luckily nothing did, and I was able to pull this thing out. But if he was out in the open, once again, it would be no problem at all, because he would have nothing to get stuck underneath, and I wouldn't have to go down and work him up off the bottom, get everything untangled. But shooting into holes at depth is always a sketchy situation, and it's always best to avoid it if you can, unless you're confident in the stone shot, which I thought I was, but ended up missing that stone shot and ended up with a big mess because of it. But luckily everything ended up being okay. But yeah, no fish is worth your life if you're gonna try this. I mean, I'm sure many of you already know or have been told that saying that no fish is worth your life, especially if you guys are experienced divers. But really cannot stress that enough. If I hadn't been able to get the omilu out here in maybe 1 or 2 drops at the most, I would have just cut my line and moved on, live to dive another day, live to get another omilu some other time. And that's always the better option. You can't shoot more trophies and break more PRs and whatnot if you're dead. So it's always the better option to live and see another dive than it is to push yourself way past your limits and put yourself in a dangerous situation just to get one fish. So yeah, like I said, if I hadn't been able to get him out, no big deal. I would have cut my line. Better to lose the fish and like $70 on a shaft than to lose my life. So got lucky today, managed to actually get the omilu out and didn't have any complications, no problems. Everything went to plan. But the fish was just a bonus. Just happy to be able to make it back to the surface safely and make it back home safely. Solid omilu. This guy's probably maybe like 8 to 10 pounds. So nothing huge, but definitely a good size one, good eating size. And super grateful to have landed him considering the situation. But yeah, solid omilu. And grateful to have actually got this fish out of the hole. So after that, we moved it a little bit more shallow, and here's Race, this is his camera as he drops down on a school of uhu that we saw. And so he gets down to the bottom, and you can see there's a male uhu in the back there and a couple females around, and that one right in front of him is coming in pretty quickly. So he lines up on that one, takes a little lunge, and then takes his shot. He runs into the hole. He does end up landing this one. I actually went down for him and grabbed this guy before he could rip off or anything. And Race also shot a kala, a good sized kala, and a good size omilu as well. Probably around 3 pounds, the omilu, so solid one. But yeah, solid dive. Dive light was super helpful. Glad I brought that with me. Yeah, hope you guys enjoy this dive. Dive safe. Alright guys, I got the fish here. Got this good size omilu. Probably like a 8 to 10 pounder. And then a couple menpachi and a toal that I shot with the 3-prong. So I'm just gonna clean these guys up. But yeah, solid dive. Nice omilu. And look at this menpachi. This menpachi is pretty big too. But yeah, just gonna get these guys cleaned up.
With highest honors.
I would like to thank God, my family, and my friends for helping me get to where I am today.